Hello everyone, I'm Alex Smith and we've got Rupert Honeywood as usual with us from Business Growth Bureau. What we're going to be tackling now is actually we're going to be going into a bit more of a personal journey and talk to you, how do you kind of handle self-sabotage in a sales-based environment? Now, what we're going to start with is actually the individual basis, kind of one-to-one if you're a single consultant, mentor, trainer, coach, and then we're actually going to be talking about Rupert's personal experience when he used to run a company of 65 strong. So let's start with Rupert initially. If I'm a sole consultant and I'm in a sales environment, what do I really need to be thinking about to keep myself on a positive kind of mindset?
Yeah, I think relating to that is about surrounding yourself with really good people. So maybe you've got other associates you can work very closely with, but also actually just going out physically doing stuff, going out networking, meeting other like-minded business people, communicating with people all the time. You get a lot of confidence from that, which is really good. One of the things that we tend to find with a lot of coaches, mentors, trainers, consultants, believe it or not, is on the first surface they exude confidence and expertise and skills, but actually behind it all there can be lots of things which are really holding us back. And one of the things that we find now as well is that, for example, if you've got the best lead generation, prospect nurturing, sales optimization process in place to bring a really strong lead flow of opportunities coming through to your business. Let's assume that's all working fine for you. And we cover a lot of this in some of the other videos. What we tend to find is when those opportunities are then handed over to our clients, the lack of confidence part is really holding people back. And that impacts people two ways. One is that they'll delay actually following people through when opportunities are coming along. But also they may have a real fear of closing those deals or opportunities.
And why do you find that is that when we're speaking to our clients, again, for people watching so that they might be able to relate, why do they sometimes struggle to close those bits of business?
I think there can, because a lot of the people we come across are just such nice, genuine people, to actually ask for the sale or ask for the deal, it's not in people's comfort zone. It's especially, I think, a bit of a British thing. The Americans, for example, tend to be a little bit much more open to this type of thing. And also, I think fundamentally we've become a little bit lazy with the advent of social media and all this other type of stuff. It's much easier to engage with people online or through email. But for example, email in particular is one of the mediums you have to be particularly careful of because things could get misunderstood, or the real passion and enthusiasm you have for something is just missed. So actually the skill of you being able to communicate over the phone or through video conferencing or through meetings is absolutely vital. You'll be able to get your core message across clearly and also be able to interact in such a way that you're asking lots of questions. And the good thing is you don't need to put yourself in a place where you are directly having to ask the sale. If you position things properly, a lot of the time you'll find the sale will tend to naturally happen because you've been able to frame things in the right way that people are more as ready to sign the order form.
I suppose it would be a good time to mention we actually have, in one of our webinars that we hold, we actually have an entire kind of, I suppose you'd call it a 15-minute slot in terms of actually how you deal with a consultative sale process, but actually how do you get over self-sabotage and actually how you handle that. Now, it'd be quite good to realise for people watching or listening, that if you were to identify three main areas of self-sabotage, what could they be? We've already identified, say, the phone call and the follow-up. What other areas could they be? Starting in general, maybe?
So you say staffing in general?
It's starting, so like starting out. So people might think, I want to start this business, I've got this great idea, I've got this great concept, this great service. I'm not sure I can actually pull it off. Would that be a one that we can maybe talk about?
Yeah, people maybe have a great vision and passion for their product or service, but actually when it comes to putting it out there, there can be real issues of lack of confidence again. And possibly the fear of rejection can be a really big thing around all of this.
Yeah, and also, so I suppose the third thing, so obviously we've covered actually the follow-up. So we've started the business, we've got the leads coming in, but the follow-up's obviously crucial. We've now just talked a little bit about, in terms of getting that business going, what would be the third final thing of maybe true self-sabotage in terms of for running a business?
I think that is that voice inside your head. You know, we all have days which are off days. We just have to be able to deal with those and actually cut through it and go on. And there's opportunities all over the place.
And obviously you've been in business for quite a while now. In your own personal experience, what have been some good ways of being able to overcome those bits of self-sabotage?
It might be a good point for me to mention as well about a different type of scenario where possibly I was running a large company, because there we had a team of 45 telesales people, And some of those people, some of the best salespeople, ironically enough, also tend to be possibly some of the most highly strung ones, because they were so full of enthusiasm and passion, and so would love the product, that when it came to it, people bought into that passion at the other side of the phone, and would actually, be a fairly easy case to be able to close that opportunity down. But equally, quite often, those very same people the following day, something would happen at home, they come into the office, or it may be that they've perhaps been at a party the night before, and they can also be some of the worst performers as well. So it's about trying to engage with your team as much as possible to get the best out of them, and also making sure you give them as much support as you can, because quite often they have the same challenges that we have. There is that inner voice sometimes telling us that we can't do something.
Which is actually a really interesting point, because it's probably quite a good time to come on to remember the most crucial thing to take away from all of this is that whether you're running a business on your own or whether you're the manager or a leader within inside a team, just remember you are a human being as well. What goes on outside of work will usually directly or sometimes indirectly affect you inside of work, and vice versa. Now, with this in mind, it's probably good to think about how that you should see them as two separate places. For an example of that, but if you're a sole consultant or you're working from home, it's very important to have different sections of the house that you work to. So for example, put it into the garage, your working space, put it upstairs, out the way of everything else, so that once you have finished the working day, for example, you can go to a completely different environment, the front room, different areas of the house, so that you're not in that same environment all day long. And the same with the work as well. If you do work at home, get out of the house, make sure that you can have your time to yourself. If it's just work all the time, there's no wonder you're starting to burn out and starting to really struggle with that. So that's something maybe to really take into consideration. Obviously, this is just a bit of a bonus session, so I suppose we'll probably wrap it up there. Hopefully, you've enjoyed listening today or watching on one of our streams. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much.
Thank you.